Hey, this your boy Diggaveli. Welcome back to the channel. We got another crazy but sad video here, guys. This is from the Breasia Terrell case. I believe she might have been murdered in 2020. I'm not sure on that. We'll find out in the video, but just a very heartbreaking, disgusting, and just insane case this was, man. I watched a couple clips on it, and it's insane, man. Just everything that happened, how it happened. It's just I'm not gonna say much, guys. Let's get into the video. This is a day one recap from the trial.
Turning our attention now to the state of Iowa, where the sleepover kidnapping murder case is set to resume at 10 a.m. Eastern time. This is a case that has made national headlines. This is the defendant. He's a convicted sex offender. His name is Henry Dinkins, and he is the father of the half-brother of the victim in this case, 11-year-old Breasia Terrell. For more on the background of this tragic case.
And before it gets started, since I have researched this a little bit, I don't understand. My heart goes out to the mother, prayers for the family, everybody's going through it. But I know you have a son from the guy, but the dude is a registered sex offender. Why would you allow your daughter to go stay with him? I understand that's her brother and they were just having a sleepover, but he's a registered sex offender. Why would you even allow your daughter to stay around somebody like that, man? We have to do better, man. We have to start using this. Start using this to prevent more pain here. It's that simple, man.
Case. Here is Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae.
For 9 months, Iowa communities searched for missing 10-year-old Breasia Terrell, her smiling face featured on FBI posters nationwide. The last people to see her alive on July 10th, 2020 were inside this apartment complex that Breasia had only visited one time. Breasia and her 8-year-old little brother were spending the night with her brother's biological father, Henry Dinkins, and Dinkins' girlfriend. The next morning after the sleepover, Dinkins called Breasia's mother and told her her daughter was nowhere to be found.
Friends and total strangers are helping the family of Breasia Terrell search for the missing 10-year-old.
The search for Breasia grabbed headlines. Local station WQAD-8 called her a, quote, budding TikTok entertainer after the child's mother shared with them these videos.
Okay, Mom. Is it pretty loud?
Dinkins was placed behind bars on unrelated probation charges. He provided no further details about Breasia's possible whereabouts, even when confronted by the child's mother.
Supposedly, he woke up and Bree was nowhere to be found.
She has been supportive and cooperative with our investigators this entire time. We cannot imagine the grief and pain she must experience.
Then in March of 2021, a tragic discovery by fishing buddies at a pond in a wooded area leads to a break in the case.
We have received confirmation that the remains are those of Breasia Terrell.
The location, a 30.
See, and that's even hard for, I'm pretty sure that's a hardened police officer right there who's seen a lot of stuff over his years. It makes him tear up to have to say stuff like that. And I'm tired of seeing stuff like that. I'm tired of hearing stuff like that. And it's been going on more these last couple of years when crime has been they don't care about crime anymore. They're defunding police. And they're basically letting criminals just run our country. You know, that's basically what our president is. So what would people expect everybody else is like? Come on, man. When you have a criminal that's president, that's defunding police and trying to get rid of police, and they cater to the criminals, man. This dude was a registered sex offender. Why is he even around kids? He shouldn't even be able to be around his son. Come on, man. And then stuff like this happens, man. And they just letting people just no cash bail. I've been seeing people that's been rapists, pedophiles, and all that just been let out of jail, man. This country is going to shit.
3-minute drive away from where Breasia had been sleeping, a location investigators believe Henry Dinkins drove to overnight with her body. He's charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder.
With premeditation, malice aforethought, and intent to kill BT, shot her with a firearm, causing her death.
Now, Dinkins' murder trial is going forward, not in front of a jury, but a judge only, after Dinkins, who pleaded not guilty, also waived his right to a jury of his peers.
Wonder what kind of advantage he thinks that will give him. Our thanks to Julia Janae.
So he thinks getting rid of a jury is going to help him? Tory has to listen to a judge hear all that insane shit that he did? Like, he stabbed a girl, shot her, and all that. Who knows what he did to her sexually? Like, this stuff is incredible. And you know the crazy thing about it, I'm not sure if they're going to say in the video, but I seen earlier that his son actually seen him shoot his sister. So, and he testified against his father. But we'll get into that stuff, man.
For that report. We're about to find out together, friends, as we watch this trial progress live here on Court TV. I have two great guests in the studio. I want to welcome in now criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Terrell Cohen is with us, and the deputy chief of investigations for the Gwinnett County, Georgia DA's office, Curtis Clemens, with us as well. Welcome to you, Curtis. First time with me on the show. Thank you so much. We were so excited that you were able to join us today. Let's start with the fact that he's going judge rather than going jury, and what advantage this might give him. I'm scratching my head a little bit. Terrell Cohen, help me out, please.
Julie, I consider that a DGQ. What is that?
What is
Darn good question. Because at least when you have a jury, there's perhaps one or two people that you may actually connect with. But the judges cut straight to it. They know what's going on. They've been there, done that, and they just don't even worry about the emotion. They concern themselves with the facts.
Right.
And the facts are not something that this defendant wants to come to light.
Yes, the DGQ. Let's stay on that point. Curtis Clemens, let me go to you on this because
man, did all that crazy stuff to that little girl that didn't do nothing to him. Just wanted to come stay the night with her brother.
the judge is going to have the rap sheet and investigate.
I don't know what kind of penalties or time they're talking about giving them, but throw the book at them.
Like yourself is going to pull that rap sheet, and this guy's got a bad one, a very bad one. You know, he's a registered sex offender, and the jury wouldn't necessarily know that. That would be something that would be kept out, but the judge does. The judge has the court file, you know, and the judge can open that on up. Henry Dinkins, okay, he's how many years old, and oh, look what he, you know, so the judge knows. So I'm kind of really scratching my head. Were you as well?
I'm scratching my head because I would think you would definitely want a trial by jury, because I would think, as you said before, you can have at least one or two people who may not agree, and that is your loophole in order to possibly get acquitted on this particular case. So I think he's taking a huge risk by going just to the judge.
Right. I'm just baffled, you know, and I could see if he's, you know, wanting to just plead and throw himself at the mercy of the court, and but no, I mean.
That's why I couldn't be a lawyer, man. Because if I was your lawyer and I knew you did some terrible stuff like that, actually seen the facts that I had to defend, you did some terrible like that, I'll finesse you too. Right to the judge, just like they did.
I don't know, Daryl.
Julie, when I prosecuted and now when I defend, if I have an innocent person, I will ask for a bench trial for just the judge. But when I have a guilty person, no way. No way.
Right. There is an expression all of our courties should know, especially our courties. Shout out to all of them in the United Kingdom and in other countries around the globe. They're watching right now, and they get such a kick out of our laws. And there's an expression, Curtis, I know you know it, in the courthouses. And this is not true. It's just an expression we, you know, kid around about. If you're guilty, you go jury. If you're innocent, you go judge. Because the idea is that the judge is going to get it right. You're really rolling the dice with the jury. But that's not true. It's just a, you know, it's just something.
What is true? It's absolutely true.
Innocent people do go in front of a jury.
Not if they have the right judge.
I know it's something. I want to play a clip here, and we'll have you both analyze it on the other side. This is from Sergeant Jeffrey Pfeiffer, lead detective on this case with the Davenport, Iowa Police Department, detailing what he knew about little Breasia Terrell as he was arriving on the scene. Take a look.
When you had responded out there, did you have any information about Breasia, as far as information relative to the development of the child, whether or not she had any handicaps, whether or not she had a history of wandering off?
So some of my initial inquiries on my arrival were any sort of disabilities, habits or routines of running away. And what the summary provided to me included that she was half deaf and half blind. To what degrees of that, I'm not sure, and it wasn't able to be articulated to me in any different terms than just that.
And that's the first time I heard that she was half deaf and half blind. Makes it even more sad and worse. Like, it just gets worse and worse the more you hear this story, man.
With respects to running off, I was told by Aisha Langford, the mother of Breasia, that she does not run off. She would not leave an area unfamiliar. It wasn't something that she did even when she was at home in familiar territory. It was not something that she had ever done.
And had you made inquiries about whether or not this was an area that the child had been to or was familiar with?
Yes.
And what information did you have about that?
That she had never spent any time there. They didn't have family there. There was no relation.
This is really, really heartbreaking. And that child, little Breasia, deserves to be protected. And as I look at this case and how tragic it is, I wonder, what can we possibly learn from this? Curtis Clemens, you've had many, many years serving in law enforcement. We thank you for that. And now as the deputy chief at the Gwinnett County DA's office, I want to pick your brain about Mom here. We're going to learn more when Mom gets on the stand, but we don't know if she knew Henry Dinkins was a sex offender or not. I think it's a safe assumption she knew, but maybe not. We know she had one child with him, little Breasia's brother, and Breasia and her brother were inseparable. And so from what I understand, on the night of this sleepover, Mom just happened to run into Henry Dinkins, who's got another girlfriend at the time, and said, I want you to spend more time with your son. You really ought to. They were still no longer romantically involved and really didn't have much contact. And so he invited the son, his biological child, over to his house. But when he went to pick him up, the two other kids there wanted to come along, an older son and then little Breasia. And Mom let Breasia go too. And Mom also was under the impression that girlfriend is going to be there as well, which she was, but she wasn't much help when she saw her standing outside and didn't do anything in the middle of the night. What can we learn from this, Curtis? What can we learn to do better when it comes to protecting our children from predators?
Well, I tell you, I spent approximately 16 years as a special victims unit investigator, so kids are very close to my heart. And when you have a situation like that, you really need to watch. And I know it sounds sad, but you almost have to do a background check on the people that you leave your children with, because as we see in his case with this,
people don't do enough checking with that type of stuff. Like, I don't even care, like, man, I don't care where my sons go, any of that stuff. You need to let somebody know where you're going to be at, who you're going to be there with, or whatever. Like, I need to know everything, period. Because, like I said, one mistake with that, and you'll be like, this mom, man, lost her kid. And nobody wants to be that. Like, nobody wants to have that happen to them. I watched enough First 48 to know that nobody wants that to happen to them.
This poor little girl, anything could happen. And for parents today, they're going to have to be aggressive in meeting the people that their children are with, getting to know the people and some of the background on the people that they may be leaving their children with, even if it's, unfortunately, even if it's teachers or going away,
Right.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or whatever. You have to be aware and check on these people that you're placing your loved one in their care and custody and protection. So you really have to do a good background check on the people that you're leaving your children with.
That's great advice, Curtis. And just kind of a follow-up to sort of dovetail off of what you're saying. In your experience, have you found it to be true that most molestation cases occur by someone known to the child, someone that they're familiar with, not a stranger?
Absolutely. In the vast majority of my cases, where these young children are victims, it is someone that the family knows and in many cases trust. And so there's not that natural built-in wall of suspicion when it's somebody that the family trusts or the child is very familiar with. And unfortunately, sometimes, as we see in this case, it is within the family. Right. So we really have to be careful, not only with strangers, or used to be stranger danger. Mm-hmm. Now you have to look inwards at your own family, and that's sad these days.
It really is, and it's true. Excellent advice. Curtis Clemens, Terrell Cohen.
Man. Yeah, heartbreaking video, man. We're going to have more on this, too, because you guys got to see some of this crazy stuff that's going on in this case. Well, that's all I'm going to say about this video, man. Y'all seen it like I seen it. I'm out.